Yeah.
Hola, cage fighting connoisseurs. This is KidNativeBloodyElbow.com, joined once again by the inevitable, the ineluctable, the ineffable Eugene S. Robinson, author of Fight. Everything is something, 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 something.
I like when a man who knows his limitations and taps out early. That's good.
Right. You know, there's no shame in tapping the strikes.
Yep, there you go. That's right. And it's called Fighter. Everything you ever want to know about asking about free, you get asking for asking. That's the name of the book.
That's right. That's right.
Or this new wonderfully is written by Martin Galinsky. Here, you could still maybe, if you inquire, this one.
Find a copy.
Yep.
Limited edition.
Yeah, a lot of good pictures here, you know, that pretty much help you figure out jiu-jitsu. There you go. There's me and the author. See, I'm saluting him in my own special way.
Man, you're really teasing the viewers because they can't, you know.
Yeah, well, the guy who's live tweeting now is actually the author of the book, so you can bug him for how to get it.
I see. And so, Eugene, we are here for the UFC on Fox 30.
UFC on Fox 30. All right.
Yes, it's going to be. I think there's going to be 32 and all, maybe 31. So we're running out of.
Will they spend $1 million on the payroll for this fight? Do you think?
Yeah, not likely. Not likely.
Okay, so they don't have any left over from the birthday party.
Probably spent the whole birthday party budget. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. Just kind of curious.
Yeah.
I wonder how many fighters on the card will get as much as that sword cost for $60,000.
Maybe 3. Yep.
It seems pretty clear that anybody fighting on that card would be better off being a waitress in a restaurant in Vegas, because then they might get $1,000 tip.
Well, or a win bonus.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Anyway, disclaimer. Are we ready?
Yeah. Disclaimer.
Crybabies, bedwetters, greedy bread gobblers, malingerers, work shy individuals, bedwetters. I think I maybe mentioned them already. This has less to do with your skills and talents as a fighter or a human being, and much more to do with the marketing heft and weight put behind you by the overlords at Endeavor, formerly WME, formerly William Morris, and the overlords at the UFC and the Bald One. If you don't like being glossed, a don't care fight is one way out and one way only. Fight an exciting fight. Until then, don't come crying to us, bedwetters.
I think you worked in all the slurs there. Crybabies.
Yeah, I think
greedy bed gobblers.
I think I may have left out malingerers.
You did. See, I'm just getting lazy. I'm complacent and lazy.
I'm under a lot of pressure these days. I make no bones. I haven't done the show stomper this week because I was in New York and it's weighing on me. I'm going to try to do it tonight. You can get around that by subscribing. Go to YouTube and subscribe to the Eugene S. Robinson Show Stomper, so it'll notify you whenever I do get off my ass and get around to doing the show. But it's a good one, mostly because of my meeting at the last 2 days in New York City at Central Park at Ozzy Fest with a VP from Endeavor.
That should be interesting.
I'm teasing now, and it was more than interesting. It was highly illuminating.
So it was you, the VP from Endeavor, and Hillary Clinton backstage?
She was there. Somebody said, "Did you meet her?" I said, "I had a chance. I did not take the chance. I was busy. I was busy hanging out with Grover Norquist."
Man, what would Steve Winwood say if you have a chance?
Steve Winwood or Steve Wynn?
I think Steve Wynn's been exiled to the Me Too Island, but Steve Winwood would say, if you have a chance, take it.
What was his big hit?
If you have a chance, take it. That was his big hit.
No. He had another one that was bigger than that.
Well, I mean, he had those songs with the Spencer Davis Group back in the 60s.
Spencer Davis Group, great. I'm a Man, great fucking song.
Yeah. And then he had a couple with Traffic that weren't quite hits, but were sort of FM radio standards. But then from Ark the Diver, he had that one. Right. Yeah, right. That propelled him into Peter Gabriel, Eric Clapton.
That's what I'm thinking.
Middle-aged, limey, in a tuxedo, sort of at an award show kind of fame.
Those guys were all nutso, man. I love that. Everybody, oh, sweet baby James. Klaus Floride, bass player for the Dead Kennedys, actually used to jam with him back when he was in Boston and before Klaus came out to the Bay Area.
James Taylor.
Yeah, James Taylor. He said, "I'm
switched from Steve Winwood to James Taylor."
Yeah, sorry, James Taylor.
Totally apropos of nothing, because James Taylor's not English, wasn't an '80s rock star.
They kind of cut from the same.
They're all rich.
Yeah. But he said, "I'm going to be in a folky band or punk band." And when he got out to San Francisco, it was clear that it made more sense to be in a punk band. So Jeffrey Lyle became
Klaus Florid. Can you pull your mic back from your mouth?
How's that?
Just pull, yeah, sideways. That's better.
How's that? Better?
You should be able to bend it like back, maybe.
Bend it like Beckham.
I was going to avoid that cliche, but Eugene dived right in. Okay, we need to get to it. UFC and Fox Saturday. These things are always early. I think something like 7 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. The Fight Pass card starts at like 2:30 p.m. Central time.
Let's talk about where the fight is going to be.
Calgary.
Calgary.
So they're trying to get rid of the Saskatchewan curse, where they've delivered nothing but the shittiest of shitty fight cards.
You think the bald one? You think the bald one will be there, or is he showing up?
I'd say even odds. Normally, I'd say the bald one is a lock to be at a Fox card, but given that they've broken up with Fox, and the UFC and Fox are in, I don't know if for those of us who've been divorced, they're in that push-pull period when you've probably filed some papers but haven't finalized the divorce, and you still have to see your ex all the time because you're moving shit out, you're signing deposits, all this kind of crap. So that's where they're at, and I bet he doesn't show. That's because it's Saskatchewan and because he's done with Fox.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I like Saskatchewan. I've had good times there. So.
Well, it's a place after my own heart.
Actually, I guess I'm thinking Saskatoon. I would actually spend some time in Saskatoon.
Calgary's more of a cowboy town.
Yep. I enjoyed Calgary. I enjoyed Calgary too.
I've never been there. Not yet. It's on the list. All right. So we've got 5 fights on UFC Fight Pass prelims, then 4 fights on Fox prelims, then 4 fights on Big Fox main card. So we'll start with the Fight Pass prelims lightweight. Devin Powell and Alvaro Herrera.
Don't care.
Me neither. Sorry, guys. Women's strawweight, Ronda Marcos and Nina Ansaroff.
Man, I care. I
care. Wow.
Yeah, I care.
Because of
these women at some point held a great deal of interest for me, especially Marcos. I loved her story, but she's routinely disappointed me. She's as close to a Gicta as she's liable to get with me. Not quite a Gicta, because I would have had to have greater sense of hope. It's like, can you have, the heroic fall? Well, you have to have a hero to have a heroic fall, right? If you're not a hero and you fall, you're just somebody who fucked up. So, but I don't feel safe or secure choosing Ansaroff either. But I think that's probably the smartest thing.
I see. I cannot muster a care because Marcos has the perfect Wikipedia pink, green, win-loss, Pied Piper pattern going. And Ansaroff lost me. She lost like 2 in a row and pretty tedious decisions. I think she's got a 2-win streak going, but she did beat Angela Hill, but I still don't care. I'm sorry.
Friend of the showstopper, Angela Hill. So I'm picking Ansaroff, and I'll let you blank it. That's stupid. That's the same stupid stuff that you got up to at the last fight that put you under. But
what? Not caring?
Actually, having a lukewarm care is actually sort of what did you in last time. You've been better off blanking.
Not caring. See, I'm learning. All right. Yep, so now we've got flyweight Dustin Ortiz versus Matheus Nicolau.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Dustin, but I don't care.
I can't give up on Dustin, man. He's got a 2-fight win streak, fight of the night, and a fight before last. I feel like he is the flyweight division gatekeeper. And if you don't care about the flyweight division gatekeeper, can you really call yourself a fan? Huh?
Like I said last night on the show, which I'm sure you didn't listen to, when it came time on If I Did It to talk about the Lost Battalion, I said very clearly, Alexis, is that you? Because I can't see through the mist, man. The fact that we're still even here talking about this shit, man, we have become like Civil War reenactors. We're talking about shit that nobody cares about. Nobody. Like John said,
the Civil War is huge. Civil War reenactors.
Exactly. Like John said, he goes, I used to be in the Dungeons and Dragons. I go, I bet you it'd be easier for you to put together a Dungeons and Dragons crew than it would to be able to put together guys for an MMA fantasy league. And he goes, bullshit. And he goes, you're right. I think about it. If I tried to get guys to come over to split the pay-per-view, I can't think of 4 fucking people I could get to come over to my house to split the pay-per-view.
Yep. The guy that used to host my parties moved back, doesn't host parties anymore. The guy used to come over, moved out. Nobody else cares.
So you're gonna bite it and go.
I'm gonna pick Dustin, man. I don't think Nicolau is got the stuff that dreams are made of, as they say.
But you're interested enough to not blank it.
No, I care about Dustin Ortiz. Although Nicolau, and he's got a big win streak going, but I don't know. I don't trust a Brazilian with the Romanian name.
What's his name again?
Matheus Nicolau.
Leo. Matheus Nicolau. What do you know him? He says no. But he's an old Brazilian, so maybe that doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, the scene just isn't what it used to be. All right,
yeah. Okay.
Moving right along. Women's flyweight: Alexis Davis versus Katlyn Chookagian.
Oh yeah. I care, I care for very convoluted Eugene S. Robinson reasons, and I'm going to have to pick Alexis Davis. Why? Because in advance of the Angela Hill piece, I knew I wanted to pick an up and coming female fighter who didn't get a lot of press, and I emailed Chookagian like 8 fucking times, and she gave me the high hand, or didn't have time for me, wasn't interested in doing the piece, or her management or whatever. So I'm going to pick against her.
So it's typical Zionist anti-Armenian bias.
No, not really, because
I'm glad you can admit it.
No, if you had gone back, if you went with your history far enough, you remember on the old Knuckle Up that I determined that there's a certain sweet spot of people who do press, which shows that they're crossing their T's and dotting their I's, and they're paying attention to stuff, which means they usually, for a while there, like everybody who did an interview with me won. And I go, that's because they're dialed in, man. They're like multitasking. They got it's like like Tom Cruise in Minority Report. He's got this screen and that screen going. And then it kind of tipped over where a guy who was too involved in doing the press wasn't training, and then they started losing. But at this point now, you can't answer. I mean, it would have been nothing, but it was good common sense thing. I can't imagine that the profile I did on Angela Hill hurt Angela Hill at all. So I'm going to have to pick Davis.
What does this have to do with the bush behind the 7-Eleven?
The juniper bush?
Mm-hmm.
If they weren't fighting there, they might be fighting at the juniper bush behind the 7-Eleven, which is where all the best fights happen, by the dumpster.
Yes. Sometimes there's a cute little couple that seems to be living behind the dumpster behind the 7-Eleven on my ride to my father-in-law's house.
I know a striking coach who used to have his students pay for their lessons by activity by the dumpster.
I see. Sounds charming. Possibly illegal.
and then one of his students, a professional fighter, said at one point, I have a boyfriend now. Do you think I could pay for my lessons some other way? And he thought for a second. He's like, no.
Man, that's disgusting. We're totally appalled. That kind of thing is so 90s, Eugene. So retrograde.
It really is. It really is.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Fortunately, I don't have any tapes like Michael Cohen.
Lucky you. Or a long record of tasteless jokes on Twitter, like James Gunn. Sorry.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that last night too. So.
I know. It pained me to miss the show, but family obligations are what they are.
Yeah, I think family obligations are what we call in other places champagne and caviar.
Yeah.
Hashtag rich.
Hashtag Barbie's something adventure.
Hashtag blew it.
A really long fucking book that still didn't put my daughter to sleep. All right, lightweight. John Makdessi versus Ross Pearson. This is the name.
Hold on. I picked Alexis. Did you have a pick in this one or not?
I don't care. I don't care. Yeah. Wow. I'm sorry.
Jesus. Okay. All right. It's okay. Oh. So you blanked twice. I blanked once. That says it all.
I took the red pill on women's MMA, Eugene. This is a MAGA hat. You can't tell. It says LaRue Tactical, but to anybody in the know, it's a MAGA hat. All right. So Makdessi versus Pearson. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
Is Ross Pearson like?
You know what? He's a prime example of a guy who's been Major Tom'd. You mentioned his name. I go, oh shit! Yeah, I thought that guy had retired.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when my wife and I saw Jackie Mason in the deli, and I didn't think it was Jackie Mason because I was sure he'd been dead for 20 years. Like, you tell me Ross Pearson's on a fight card, and I'm saying, isn't he gone? But he's actually coming off a win. He beat Mizuto Hirota.
Hold on, though. Did he or did he not retire?
He did not. I mean, he's still fighting.
Who are we thinking of? I know who I'm thinking about. Who was that fucking British guy?
I mean, Ross should have retired.
No. Who was the British guy who always came in with the hat, the fisherman's hat?
Oh, yeah, the little guy. Yeah, he retired. He was a flyweight, though. And I can't remember his name. Pickett. Brad Pickett.
Yes, Brad Wicked.
Do you really think that Englishmen are named Brad? I mean, doesn't that seem fishy to you? Like, how many Englishmen do you know named Brad?
No, I knew a guy, Manuel, who was Swiss, and my old drummer said, because that's about as kosher as Ivan the Spaniard. So yeah,
people get around. That's the thing about people. But we got to pick a fight. John Makdessi moved from TriStar, where he said you had to coach yourself, to Rufus Sports, where he says they're hands-on.
Yeah, they'll grind you down there though. So Makdessi against who? I'm sorry, who was the second guy?
Ross Pearson, remember?
Yeah, you see what happens when you've been perfectly Major Tom? There was a guy I knew whose name Tom Wilson. And I go, that was a perfect spy name, because the second you heard it, you could not remember it. So we had a friend of mine who used to win, who was won a bunch of Emmys. We used to go, he go, Tom Wilson. I go, who? Who? Tom Wilson. Oh yeah, that guy. Who? Tom Wilson. It's the same thing. Ross Pearson, Major Tom, don't know. I think it would be unwise to pick Pearson.
I agree. Although Makdessi
is a fucking gift straight up if there's ever been one.
Yes.
But we decided we care about this fight, so we got to make a pick.
I used to be a real sucker for Makdessi. Then I interviewed him and thought he was a complete stupid asshole. So, and I said it. You can tell him that.
Okay, and I also was a big Pearson guy until I got once bitten 15 times shy. But I still got to go for the old guys, man.
I don't know that there's that much of an age difference. That's the sad thing.
Well, it seems like
Wikipedia is my friend. 33 is how old Pearson is, and Makdessi is 33. They're both 33. See, okay. I know these things. Eugene.
You know things.
I know things.
All right, well, I'm gonna pick Pearson, and I think that's an ill-advised choice, but I'm gonna. Yep.
Oh, the dumb money just walks up and hands itself to me. I'm taking Makdessi to the bank, Daddy-o. Okay. And I'm hoping he busts out some Taekwondo, because the dude used to do Taekwondo. Then he learned, like a couple of boxing moves, and you never see the Taekwondo anymore.
Yeah, somebody was doing a piece for me on like Taekwondo, and I was like, all right. Just don't be saying shit like how deadly it is, because it's not really very deadly.
It's got some deadly moves, though. I mean, the spinning kicks and axe kicks. I think Taekwondo has proven itself to be much more viable than, say, Wing Chun.
Yeah. True.
I've been waiting to see. So I've seen like one Wing Chun move used in an actual fight, and it was a blink or you missed it kind of thing, just a little trap in boxing range. Or trapping range.
One of the reasons I like MMA and what is that all that shit that looks so beautiful when it's demoed via a kata or some kind of other non-realistic, ballet-like setting. When like Tom Gunn, the San Francisco writer, once said, real fights are fucking clumsy and graceless. And so when you see somebody like a Sakuraba or John Jones, what you're shocked at is that sometimes it's not clumsy and or graceless, but in general, if we're watching the UFC, man, we're watching like top flight fucking athletes, and it still looks fucking clumsy sometimes, I mean, humans, how we in other words, any fight scene in a movie never looks like anything you see in the cage, and there's a reason for that.
Unless it's the Lethal Weapon series that one of the Gracies advised on.
Hickson.
No, it wasn't Hickson. It was Horion, dude.
God. Oh, that's right. Good for you. All right, man.
Good for
That's
me.
a good trivia question. That's a good trivia question. Because I get confused because Hickson was in the Hulk.
Huh? He was.
With Ed Norton. Yeah. Talking about all that stuff that he doesn't do in real life, like when he threatened my buddy. Hey, I'm gonna need my seat, he says to Hickson, and Hickson goes, "You're going to need to breathe too."
Charming folks, those Gracies. I think Helio was like brawling with people on the bus well into his 70s.
Who?
Helio Gracie was just like.
I know. But who was he brawling with?
Just randos on the bus. Like, his honor was besmirched, and boom, arms were broken. All right. Yep. Now we're moving on to the Fox preliminary card. Got 4 fights. Light heavyweight. Gadzhimurad Antigulov versus Ion Cutelaba. Yet another Romanian.
Yep.
Remember Ion?
Usually the inability to pronounce a name bodes poorly for caring about this one. But Cutelaba, I know. And
he's already like a been there, done that kind of guy for me.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling that too, man. Who is it again? Sorry.
Ion Cutelaba versus a Dagestani dude named Gadzhimurad Antigulov. I'm going with the Dagestani. I care, new Dagestani, and I care. And well, he's not a new one. It's his third UFC fight. He won both of them by guillotine and got a fight of the night at UFC Fight Night. Bader versus Nogueira 2 back in 2016. So this guy fights once a year.
Yeah, that's a good sign. All right, I'll pick the Dagestani. I can't pick Cutelaba.
All right. Afraid to go. Some European nationalist you turned out to be.
Oh, you're gonna pick the you got Cutelaba?
No, I'm not a European nationalist. This is a MAGA hat.
Your MAGA hat looks very French to me.
It's not a mega hat. It's a MAGA hat.
Yeah. Rue. It seems very French to me. La Rue, the street.
Yeah. Well, that's where we go for our freedom fries.
Yeah. This tactical street is what your hat says.
That's right. Whatever my tactical needs, LaRue has it. I had to pay freight for this hat. I didn't get it free either. Featherweight, which is bullshit because you ought to get a free hat with a box of ammo. But featherweight, Hakeem.
You bought ammo? Was you standing?
Austin Arnett. I'm not going to answer that question. That's my business. That's personal freedoms.
Too late. You got to stand your ground there in Austin.
Always stand your ground, man. In Austin, you can get acquitted for shooting a guy in the back who's running away from you because he looked in your car window.
Yeah, you know what?
Obviously, you have to be a white guy, and the victim has to be Hispanic or black. But
you know what?
Juries have shown.
I think that instance that you got into when you're in the parking lot at Payless or Walmart or wherever the fuck it was with that Trader Joe's, you should have shot that guy. You could have gotten away with it.
I really wouldn't want to have that on my head. What if the guy has kids?
Yeah, they shoot him in the knee.
Then I'd be looking, and then he bleeds to death. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So
I guess there's no safe way to do that.
No, I mean, there's really not.
I have a guy who just wrote a story for me about getting shot, and he got shot. And he's actually used to be a producer for Queensryche, the heavy metal group.
Did he produce the one album, Operation Mindcrime?
No, Quiet Lucidity. No.
I see. Operation Mindcrime. Some have called it the Turner Diaries of rock and roll. I
know. I've heard this before. But no, what he did. I said, what did the guy do? What did the guy do after he shot you? He goes, a victory dance. I thought that was fucking great. I mean, you don't think of what the guy would do. I figured the guy would then try to run away to avoid, detection. I go victory dance. He goes, yeah, like he had scored a touchdown. Like, the guy, the icky shuffle. What the fuck was it? I guess if you shoot somebody, you're pretty happy.
Well, I mean, I would prefer that than having my shooter just, move on like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Like I'd at least like to be a notch on the belt.
Or there's a Ukrainian guy that we train with here, and I was telling this story about a guy in Poland whose his boss owed him $50. He was like, hey, you're gonna pay me the $50? And the boss said, hey, yeah, let's help me move this load of lumber, and I'll pay you afterward. And the Ukrainian guy here right away started making noises like, Now it could be because all my stories end the same way, or it could be that he's Eastern European and he knows if you're demanding money and the guy says, let's go out to the woods so I can pay you, it's a bad look. So they macheted the guy and they rolled him into a ditch and covered him with leaves and left him there. But the guy wasn't dead. They struck him in the back of the head and he passed out, but he wasn't dead. It didn't cut his spinal cord. Or he crawled to the road, bleeding heavily. Somebody rescued him. And of course, he turned into his boss. I can only imagine what that trial was like,
Man, wage theft, serious matter.
Yeah, and they go to the boss at the lumberyard. He's like, hey, money doesn't grow on trees. What the fuck? Hey, Kai, could you close that door?
Parking lot brawl?
No, it's just
trouble at the Starbucks.
They got this guy who drinks too many Red Bulls who's doing the fucking cleaning here.
I see. All right. Well, let's keep moving right along. Featherweight, Hakeem. Wait.
Hey.
I picked the Dagestani, you picked the Romanian. Okay.
Don't touch your phone. Just look at...
Hands to yourself, people. Eugene's trying to work here. Are we here?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I'm showing him a meme that's like when I got kicked out of class here at the Sorrel Academy. It's perfect. Can you read what it says?
Hold it up. Talk.
Talk.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the Pope looking in a window.
That's a Pope when you get sent out of class, but you're still causing drama. That's right.
Oh, Eugene. Featherweight. Hakeem Dawodu versus Austin Arnett.
Say it again.
Hakeem Dawodu versus Austin Arnett.
Don't give a shit.
I don't either, although I'm curious. I'm intrigued. Some exotic names.
You're Bikutrius.
Bikutrius. Huh, this guy's Canadian. Hakeem Dawodu is Canadian.
I sure he is.
And he's half Nigerian, half Jamaican. So.
Oh, I love that. I love that mix.
Austin Arnett. That's a mix that's new to
that
me.
Means he's irritable and he's got 12 jobs.
I see. I've heard the Nigerians are the new model immigrant group.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, which is a big step up from how I knew them back in the days in D.C. when they were just the dishonest cab drivers. But,
I had a guy try to pull that to me in New York. He's like, jumps out because I'm falling asleep in the back of the cab because I took a red eye, right?
Yeah.
And I'm taking a lift. And even though I know one of you guys listening told me never to take flywheel, I couldn't get a flywheel. So I broke down and took a lift. And I'm falling asleep in the back of the cab. And I get to where I'm going to. And the guy's jumped out and he's got both my bags on the sidewalk. He goes, "Thank you, sir." And I was, yeah, but there's a third bag in the back. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot." Get the fuck out of here. You know, no way.
Yes,
I don't buy that.
Yes. In DC, you know, they used to have zones instead of meters. And you get some guy trying to tell you that you are in a different zone than you are in. It's like, dude, I know the fucking city. I was not in zone 2. All right. It was an outrage. All right. Lightweight. Kajan Johnson versus Islam Makhachev.
Don't care.
I don't either. Although, again, Kajan Johnson, I almost cared about at one point, but I no longer do. He's old, and the win streak is mostly decisions. So, yeah, I stand by that. All right, now welterweight. Alex Morono versus Jordan Main. They don't have to put up his dad in a hotel room this time because he's fighting in Canada. So.
Wow.
Yep.
There you go. That's a curse of Major Tom. When you hear the guy's name and you're like, "Oh yeah, whatever happened to that guy?"
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a
hot young kid.
Now it makes me sad that I'm gonna have to go. I don't care, but I really don't care.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, guy put together an epic losing streak and he lost me. Sorry. All right. So since people seem to like this segment, we're gonna give you some more musical choices, Eugene.
I'm ready.
So, no wavering, no bullshitting. You got to come out with your favorites.
I got to think, but okay, but I won't waver.
Right. Cameo or the Gap Band?
Oh, I'm a Cameo guy.
Cameo, really? I mean, come on.
You know, they
one-hit wonders with the codpiece versus the Gap Band.
No. They go back longer than that, and the reinvention with the codpiece and the Lower West Side gay culture shit was like pretty epically produced. What do you do? What is that for? Oh, don't. Okay, all right.
They heard you say gay culture, and
they heard me say gay culture, and they were back. So the Gap. I'll give you an example of what I mean. The Gap Band is like this, but Cameo was like this. Woo, woo, woo.
I don't know, man.
I like the brief flashes of great glory over the slow and steady winning the race type shit. Sorry, that's my call.
I see. I think it's coastal elitism. Hayton, Oklahoma's second greatest contribution to music, or maybe greatest. Flaming Lips, Gap Band. Which one would you say?
Oh, I heard the guys in the Flaming Lips are assholes. Strangely enough.
I mean, yeah, you know.
But there's certain types of assholes I like, and certain the guys in the Violent Femmes I hear are assholes too.
Crazy assholes.
Yeah, but I found the way they were assholes pretty amusing because it was so at odds with their public image. But what I hear about the Flaming Lips is just kind of, I guess it's audience. All right, man. Audience assholes versus band assholes. Like I like audience assholes. I don't like band assholes.
I see. So Wayne coined band asshole. That's probably fair enough. All right, moving on. New Order versus Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode, easy.
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 Really?
Easy. Yeah, because I saw New Order open for the Chemical Brothers, and then I heard them do
They opened for the Chemical Brothers?
Yes.
On what planet? Planet 1997?
Probably around right around then.
Huh.
And then they came out with a woo, all right, hey, San Francisco version of Love Will Tear Us Apart Again. And I actually I sat down. I was really fucking depressed, man. I gave the entire, it really, and my imitation of the Chemical Brothers was like, check email. Raise your hands over your head for those listening on the radio. So it's like, and you open for those guys and you massacre Love Will Tear Us Apart. No, bro, sorry. I mean, it's like if I have to choose Fugazi over Motley Crue, everybody would expect that I would take Fugazi, but I know Motley Crue, in my mind, is a much more honest band, right? When they're singing about girls.
What you see is what you get.
Exactly.
And the VH1, what are the rock documentaries on VH1 called? Come on, you know this.
Behind the music. Yep.
The Motley Crue Behind the Music is probably the best one of all time.
Yeah.
And I don't even think Fugazi has one. So
and then I just read Roger Moret's book, My Riot. They're like three hardcore memoirs now. There's A Life of My Own, Harley Flanagan's Anthony Bourdain approved memoir autobiography. There's My Riot, Roger Moret's, and then there's John Joseph's one, which I can't remember the name. I haven't read John Joseph's. And I've read them all, mostly because I'm in two of them, so I want to because I'm an egomaniac.
What about Get in the Van by Rollins?
Yeah, I read that, but okay, that's a good example that you bring that up. Okay, so
My Damage by Keith Morris.
I have to tell, I haven't read that, but you know nothing about Rollins as a result of reading Get in the Van.
Oh, he sleeps on hard floors and he's in the sweaty van and he's tough and suffering. Come on, what about my pain? Says Henry.
I learned a lot about Roger from reading My Riot, and it filled in stuff that I hadn't known, So and I remember, and it talks about the moment I first met him and filled out in a way that I almost kind of sort of remember. So it was cool, but like Fugazi. I don't know anything about Fugazi from Fugazi's music. I know a lot about Motley Crue from Motley Crue's music. It could be that they're just too simple and the other band is more complex. I doubt it, though.
So you're saying John Lennon and the internal monologue is better than Paul McCartney and songs about secretaries and boring people? Is that what you're saying?
No. After a long time and careful consideration, I've moved over to the McCartney camp.
Whoa, Eugene Robinson, manly man, is a McCartney. I don't
like Lennon beating his women and treating his son like shit.
But he came out and apologized for all that. He was one of the first people to come out against that sort of thing.
Yeah, you know what? If I'm Julian, I'm not forgiving. I'm not forgetting.
I see. I think that's pretty petty reasoning. I mean,
fuck that. As an aggrieved son, that's how I'm playing it, buddy.
I see. Okay, we got to keep this segment moving. Which Stooges model is your favorite, the Ron Ashton or the James Williamson?
Ooh, a Ron Ashton. Yeah.
I mean, and it's, I think anybody who's heard the records closely has to make that choice, but it pains me for James Williamson because Search and Destroy and Raw Power are so great. But,
yep.
You're up against the greatest albums of all time.
I played a show with the sax player. What was his name? Steve.
Mackay?
Yeah, the one who died. It doesn't narrow it down, but yeah, he was great.
All right, and the last one, Al Jolson or Eddie Cantor?
Oh, Jolson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Eddie Cantor movies though?
No, I haven't.
His movies are way better, and they're very dirty.
Oh yeah, well, Sonny Boy, hands down. You know the story behind Sonny Boy.
Of course.
And that's, in my mind, that's it.
I see. All right. Now we'll move right along back to the main card of UFC on Fox 30. Lightweight, Alexander Hernandez versus Olivier Aubin-Mercier, another Canadian.
Not only another Canadian, but another Major Tom guy. Wow.
He's on a 4-fight win streak, dude. This guy.
So what? And who's he fighting?
He beat Evan Dunham.
Yeah, but who's he fighting at this fight?
He's fighting Alexander Hernandez, who doesn't even have a wiki entry. So
yeah, so I don't care. Sorry, man.
Ouch, ouch. I care because judo, baby, judo.
So that you get.
I'm picking Mercier, Aubin-Mercier.
Oh boy, good for you. Okay.
Yeah, plus freedom fries. You know, I'm a francophile. All right, here we go. Women's strawweight: Tecia Torres versus former champ Joanna Jedrzejczyk.
Of course, big care.
Did you ask the Ukrainian guy what he thinks about the Polish fighters?
Nah, he got hurt yesterday, so he's not here today. He got hurt rolling with me, but it wasn't my fault. I don't know. Joanna's been acting so fucking nuts. I just can't. I can't sign on for it. I think she actually will beat Tecia Torres, but I just can't pick the lunacy is. And the reality of it is she's in that uncomfortable place too, where, somehow the lunacy will be justified and justifiable if she wins. But that's a pretty steep fucking fall if she doesn't, right? And that's going to be got to be working on her head. Oh my God! And also the door, she's defeatable, right? I mean, she's imminently defeatable. Anybody training for a fight against her has got to know that. I don't think I've seen enough flashes of brilliance out of Tecia Torres to feel super comfortable with picking her as a winner. But the reality of it is, there's been a lot to see about Joanna that should give people confidence.
Yeah, Rose pretty well wrote the book on how to beat her, I would say, and twice at length. So I got to pick Joanna though.
Okay. I should, because I am always the Polish thing, but I just can't reward that kind of lunacy. I can't do it.
I see. All right, now we come to the co-main event.
Now we come to the payoff.
Featherweight, Jeremy, who's that fucking guy, Stevens, versus Jose Aldo, who's that fucking guy?
You know what? I have to tell you an honest, very honest, brief but honest story. When I saw the poster for that fight, I thought it was fucking fake.
Really?
Yeah. Like I thought it was just some fan created artwork, and people I was like, no, or maybe it was an old fight that I had missed, or some shit like that. And it wasn't until you said it just now that I actually really sort of believed it.
Well, so are you gonna? Is it a care?
Yes, it's a care.
Yes, definitely a care. And do you have a pick?
Oh man, I hate to pick against Jose because of what I've said about the head issue, but let me ask Sorrel. Jose Aldo against Jeremy Stevens. What do you think? Yeah, I think he's made a good point. He goes. He hopes it. I'll repeat. Yeah, that's what he said before about Shogun. He said, I hope that Jose wins, but he thinks that Jeremy Stevens wants it more. And I think he could be right. Man. Well, we care, right? You care? Is that right?
Yeah, that's a big care. Because it's like, Aldo's got the 2 back-to-back losses to Holloway, and with Holloway maybe injured, maybe out, the door might be open for Aldo's return, but I feel like Stevens is hot. He's had 2 wins already this year, and both finishes. And I think Aldo is done. I just don't
okay. So you're picking Stevens.
Yep. I think he's going to beat him like his best friend in an Iowa bar. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Well, just for fun, and because I smashed you the last time we had the show, I'm going to go out and live dangerously and pick Jose Aldo.
All right. I'm glad I could bait you into that.
It's all right. No,
whatever it takes, baby. Just win, baby.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine until the Michael Cohen tapes come out. That's fine. No, I the thing is, I want to see him do well.
You realize that Team Trump is leaking those tapes, right? Cohen is not flipping at this point. He's threatening to flip, but
Why? Why do you think?
Well, because Dershowitz knew they were coming out. I mean, Dershowitz is hearing about this from Team Trump, and if it was with Mueller and all that, it wouldn't be leaking to the press. Mueller is like no drama Obama. He doesn't leak shit.
So what's the play?
The play is more fear, uncertainty, and doubt, just chaos and shitstorm. He just switching the subject from Russia to back to hookers and moving right along. That's the play. And also on Cohen's part, he's like, I need a pardon, dude. Pardon me. Pardon me. President says what? Pardon me. Pardon me. Yeah.
Well, the best part is the Trump guy here. I drove him out with it. Well, actually, he was just leaving anyway. But he had nothing to say. He had nothing to say.
I see.
I like that. I like that scenario that these were self-released and that he's still on Team Trump. That's a kind of interesting take. Interesting, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Jeremy Stephens this is a weird fight, right? Because Jeremy Stephens beats Jose Aldo. It'll still, in a very general sense, be a so what, right? I mean, it's like, the guy's his head's gone. I mean, nobody expects Jose to win. Jose does win, then that's a fucking pretty significant deal, But
it sort of puts him back, and it depends what happens with Holloway, But Aldo's currently still ranked number 2 at featherweight. Stephens is ranked number 4, so it's got clear. And Stephens hasn't fought for a title, so I could easily see this. I could see Stephens and Brian Ortega fighting for one of the dreaded interim titles.
Well, you know what? I see Jose Aldo, and it seems weird to say this. I see him basically as having a better fight IQ than Jeremy Stephens.
Much. Except he hasn't adjusted. He hasn't changed his game lately. Yeah. And it makes you wonder.
And I don't think he's as tough, actually. I think we've seen that I think we've seen that. So.
So I see. So now, let's move on to the main event. Lightweights. This is a do-over fight. Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier. They fought, I think, 2 years ago. Poirier got kneed illegally by Alvarez, so it was ruled a no contest. What had been quite the scrap. So, and Poirier is, coming off wins over Justin Gaethje and Anthony Pettis. Alvarez is coming off of a win over Justin Gaethje. So they both can engage in fun brawls with Gaethje and beat him.
All right, so this is Poirier against Alvarez, huh? I've been shaken in my Alvarez love by his fucking McNuggets thing.
By the way, he melted like one of those balls of fat yuppies put in their coffee.
But it was like the horror movies. It's quiet, too quiet. It was convenient, too convenient. I don't want to be that sucker, but I think I'm going to be that sucker, and it doesn't have to be that there was collusion in this instance. It could have just been that his head was zapped, but that was disappointing. Will it be zapped against
Dustin Poirier?
No, I don't think it will be. I think Poirier is a more skilled fighter, but I think that at this point now Alvarez has got a lot more to prove.
I agree with that, but I still think Poirier takes it.
Okay. Again, I'm going to go for broke on this one.
I'm taking all your monies.
I don't mind. I don't mind. I'll let you do that. So I'm going to pick. Alvarez. I had to remind myself who I just picked. That's what that says. Alvarez. All right. Boom. All right, we're done.
We've got it. That's the Carrot Down Kill preview.
This is not a bad card. 1, 2, 3.
No, this is actually quite a good card, and it's on Fox.
5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We care. We don't care all about the same things, but we care 7 fights apiece. I have a doldrums in the center. If you can see my side, where I've just got 4 in a row where I don't give a shit. I guess that's when I go to the store or do something.
What
else.
I'm going to do is start late, watch the Fight Pass fights at the same time as the Fox prelims.
Interesting.
Because you can usually save so much time doing that way.
But this is, what time does this start?
It's let me pull up the schedule so I get it right. I want to get it right, because journalism and such like. So it's Saturday evening, Fight Pass. I'm on UFC.com. All right. So the Fight Pass prelims start at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern. So a little later than they sometimes do. The Fox prelims start at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, Main card, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Oh yeah, man! Come on. Okay.
You'll have time to make your tango lessons after this.
Yeah, whatever, man. I might see a movie, but okay. All right.
So that's our show. Follow us on Twitter at KidNate, at Eugene S. Robinson. He's trying to
give us a thumbs up.
Thumbs up was the thumb icon.
Oh,
screen
yeah. I'm
give
confused.
us a like on the video. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube and see all the hilarity. Tomorrow's
or the Eugene S. Robinson show stomper, so I don't have to remind you.
If the shoes fit, so you can see our public affairs show on Tuesday nights with Alexis Old. Listen to me on the Let It Roll podcast. Eugene's got a new Bauhaus reunion album. Is that right?
Boonwell.
I knew it was
the easy way out, and it started getting English language press, as I put up yesterday from Fighting Boredom, a UK online publication, which said it was a masterpiece and very possibly the record of 2018.
Wow! You need to get that Anthony dude to review it on YouTube.
Yeah, Anthony Fantano. That's not a bad idea. So this would, if those of you are counting, this would give me the record of the year 2016, 2017, and 2018. I'm gonna run the whole table, baby.
Rolling into middle age with authority.
Yeah, you're a nice guy. I like that. Middle age, like everybody expects me to live until 110.
I mean, an African-American middle-aged man hasn't put out this many good records in a row since Howlin' Wolf.
I like that. The more. I mean, middle age would actually be 80. I'm past middle age.
No.
I mean, 40 would be middle age.
You're totally missing. You're looking at this from this narcissistic, me-centered viewpoint. Middle age means you're not a young person and you're not an old person. That's what I mean. It doesn't mean you're in the middle of your life. It means that you're in the middle of society.
Yeah, you say potato, I say tomato.
All right. Read Eugene at Ozzy.com. Read me at bloodyelbow.com. Listen to the Let It Roll podcast. Zane and Connor will have their review section tomorrow with in-depth previews from a knowledgeable perspective and the 6th round immediately after the fights. And Eugene, you will have a show stomper when?
If you sign up, it'll notify you either tonight or tomorrow.
And then again on Sunday? Back to regular schedule?
Yep, back to the regular schedule. Yep.
All righty. All right. Well, that's our show. Adios, MMA aficionados. Thanks, Eugene. We'll see you next time.
Later, man.